Title: I Needed a Real Man, she said. I sat quietly in our small living room, staring at the cold cup of tea in front of me. My wife, Ada, stood across from me, her arms folded like she was the one hurt. The silence between us was louder than her words. I cheated, she had said a few minutes ago. Just like that. No tears. No shaking voice. Just a straight face and a careless tone. I couldn't speak. My chest felt tight. Then she added, I needed a real man. That sentence struck me harder than anything else. What did she mean by that? Was I not good enough? I remembered the times I stayed up with her when she was sick, how I worked double shifts just to pay rent and buy her the little things she liked. I remembered the promises we made on our wedding day. Still, she looked at me like I was the problem. I'm sorry, she said, but her voice lacked weight. I was lonely. You're always too calm. Too safe. I clenched my fists but said nothing. My mind was filled with questions. Who was he? How long had it been going on? Did she ever even love me, or was I just the backup plan? She walked to the window and looked out, avoiding my eyes. It wasn't supposed to happen. But he made me feel alive. Alive? So I wasn't enough to make her feel alive? I laughed a little, not because it was funny, but because I didn't know what else to do. It felt like my whole world had cracked open in the middle. My phone buzzed on the table. A message from my younger sister, hope you're okay, big bro. Just checking in. I stared at the screen, my hands shaking. I wanted to reply, but I didn't even know what okay meant anymore. Ada turned to me again. I thought you should know. I won't lie to you. I looked at her for a long moment. The woman I had loved, defended, and trusted. She looked like a stranger now. I stood up slowly, walked to the door, and stepped outside. The evening breeze hit my face, cooling my skin but not my heart. I didn't know what I would do next. I stood outside for a long time, listening to the crickets and the distant sound of cars. The night felt strange, like the world was moving on while my own had paused. I could hear her inside, moving around in the kitchen, pretending like everything was normal. Dishes clinking. The tap running. It made me angry. How could she break me and still have the strength to wash plates? I pulled out my phone again, typed a message to my best friend, Uche. She cheated. She said I'm not a real man. I stared at the words, then deleted them. What was the point? I wasn't ready to talk. Instead, I walked. Past the corner store, past the dark alley, all the way to the small park where I used to go when life felt heavy. I sat on the same old bench under the mango tree. The air smelled of dust and leaves. A few kids were still playing, their laughter echoing like a reminder that life wasn't always this messy. I thought about our wedding day. She wore a white dress and smiled like she had found the one person she could never hurt. I was wrong. My phone rang. It was her. I didn't pick. A message came in, "Where are you?" I turned off the phone. I needed silence. Not lies, not excuses. Just peace. After a while, I heard footsteps behind me. I turned slightly. "Guy, what are you doing here?" Uche's voice broke through the stillness. He sat down beside me. "How did you find me?" I asked. "You always come here when things get tough," he said. "Your sister told me something felt off." I didn't say anything. Just nodded. He waited for a while before speaking again. "She told you the truth?" I nodded again. "She said I'm not a real man." Uche clenched his jaw. Some women say that when they already made up their minds. It's not about you, bro. It's about her. Her emptiness. Her disrespect. I closed my eyes. Then why does it still feel like I failed? Because you're human, he said. And humans feel pain when their hearts are played with. We sat in silence for a while. Then he stood. You're not staying there tonight. I can't even think straight, I admitted. Come to my place, he said. We'll talk more tomorrow. As we walked away from the park, I looked back once. I didn't know if I'd ever look at her the same again. I didn't know what my next step was. But for the first time in hours, I felt like I could breathe. I wasn't okay. But I wasn't alone. I didn't sleep much at Uche's place. I lay on the couch, staring at the ceiling, listening to the ticking wall clock and the occasional sound of cars outside. My mind ran in circles, memories of Ada's laughter, her silence, her betrayal. The sentence kept replaying like a broken record. I needed a real man. By morning, I felt like I hadn't closed my eyes at all. Uche was already in the kitchen, frying eggs in boiling water when I walked in. He didn't say much, just gave me a nod and pushed a cup of hot tea across the table. You'll feel better after this, he said. I took the tea, my hands still slightly trembling. Thanks, man. No wa'ala, he replied. You know you've got brothers. We ate in silence. There was nothing to say yet. Not until I could decide what I wanted. After breakfast, I finally turned on my phone. 12 missed calls. 7 messages, all from Ada. Please, just come home so we can talk. I know you're hurt. I'm sorry. Please don't walk away like this. I still love you. You're still my husband. Don't let this be the end of us. Please come back home. Just talk to me. Each message made me feel heavier, not lighter. If she still loved me, why did she throw it all away? I stood up and walked to the window, staring at the busy street below. People rushing to work, mothers taking children to school, buses honking as usual. The world had moved on like nothing happened. But for me, everything had changed. I'm going to talk to her, I said at last. Uche looked up. You sure? I need answers, I said. Even if I don't like what I hear. He nodded. Just don't let her pull you back with sweet words, if your heart says no. I grabbed my keys and stepped out into the sunlight. The walk to our flat felt longer than usual. My steps were slow, but my chest was tight with tension. When I got to the door, I paused. I could hear the TV on inside. She was probably pretending again, playing the role of a good wife. I knocked once. The door opened almost immediately. Ada stood there in a long t-shirt, her eyes swollen from crying. You came back, she said, stepping aside. I walked in without answering. The house looked the same. My shoes still at the corner. My toothbrush still in the holder. But nothing felt like home. We sat across from each other. She opened her mouth to speak, but I raised a hand. Let me talk first, I said calmly. She nodded, tears already forming. I looked at her for a moment, then asked the one question that had haunted me all night. Was it worth it? She looked away, lips trembling, and for the first time I saw a trace of shame in her eyes. Ada looked down at her fingers, twisting them nervously. The silence stretched. I don't know, she said quietly. It felt good in the moment, but now I feel empty. Guilty. I nodded slowly. So it wasn't love. It was a feeling. A thrill. She looked at me, eyes glistening. He made me feel seen. You've been distant lately, always working, always tired. My jaw clenched. You think I enjoyed being tired? I worked hard so we wouldn't lack. So you'd never feel the hunger I felt growing up. I know, she whispered, her voice breaking. And I failed you. I know I did. There was another long pause. You didn't just cheat, I said, my voice low but steady. You looked me in the face and told me I'm not a real man. That wasn't just betrayal, it was disrespect. She began to cry openly now, tears running down her cheeks. I was angry, ashamed, confused. I said that to hurt you because I didn't want to feel like the only one who was wrong. You were wrong, I said plainly. And you're still trying to shift the weight. She buried her face in her palms. I'm sorry. I want to fix it. I'll do anything. I stood up and walked around the room, hands in my pockets. The walls felt tighter than usual. I loved you, I said. With everything in me. But love isn't a one-way street. You don't betray someone and expect things to go back to normal with an apology. She nodded through the tears. So what now? I looked at her, really looked. The woman I once believed I'd grow old with. The woman I defended in every room, supported in every season. I forgive you, I said finally. She looked up, hopeful. But forgiveness doesn't mean we stay together, I added. It means I'm letting go of the pain so I can heal. Her mouth opened slightly. You're leaving? I nodded. Not because I hate you. But because I finally love myself enough to walk away from what no longer honors me. She broke down, sobbing. I walked to the room and packed a small bag. Just the basics. I didn't want anything more from this house. The memories would be enough burden to carry. Before I walked out, I turned back and looked at her one last time. You said you needed a real man, I said. I'm still him. You just didn't recognize it. And with that, I left. The sun was bright as I stepped into the street. People passed by, living their lives. And for the first time in a long time, I wasn't just existing, I was choosing myself. The road ahead wouldn't be easy. But it would be mine. And I'd walk it with dignity. The end.